And one particular man has some strong opinions. Let's talk all about what's over Twitter. Former President Trump's town hall, he had a lot to say on election integrity, national security, and even his own legal troubles. But was it a win for Mr. Trump or just more posturing and politicking? NewsNation's media analyst Colby Hall is here with me now. You know, Colby, we've talked about a lot of things. This is a former president accused of sexual misconduct multiple times, in the midst of multiple lawsuits, accused of inciting an insurrection, lying about a rigged election. Doesn't CNN giving him a full 70 minutes make it appear that these charges against him are, no pun intended, trumped up? I mean, if he's guilty of all of this, they just kicked off one of their longstanding anchors for much less. Why give him so much airtime?
Well, they gave him the airtime because he is the presumptive nominee for the Republican Party, right? And so there is some news value there. You asked at the beginning, sort of rhetorically, was this a win for Trump? I mean, I think the answer to that question is yes, it was, but it was also a disaster for Trump. Meaning, anyone that's paid attention to Trump's rhetoric and sort of baseless conspiracy theories over the last 4 years knows, you know, he didn't hear anything different. I think he shored up his base, and the audience was filled with his supporters, which I think was the biggest, most regrettable decision that CNN made. That said, I think it was a disaster for Trump in trying to appeal to moderate voters in the middle. I can't think of any of my female friends who live in the suburbs with whom I grew up who saw that and saw him mock the woman who he was found liable to sexually abuse to get laughter, are going to want to rally behind him. So I think he shored up his base. I think CNN made a risky decision that put ratings perhaps ahead, but I also feel you can't ignore the guy in the news, right? So it's a really fascinating question, the truth of which I haven't quite figured out the right answer yet.
Well, I think you bring up a lot of things. We could talk about Jean Carroll for hours, but we won't do that right here. A lot of people have opinions about that case. And CNN, a lot of people have opinions about CNN, frankly. Was this an attempt to not ignore the conservative audience? Clearly, there are a lot of people who believe in those baseless claims that some are calling them from the former president.
Right. And you know, CNN clearly is trying to pivot, but I'm not sure that they have it in their DNA to be anything other than never Trump. In fact, the lead senior media reporter at CNN wrote in his newsletter last night that the CEO is facing fury from within the network, which is a stunning sort of internal kind of allegation. And I think it's because there's a lot of kind of never Trump DNA left over from Jeff Zucker's leadership.
Absolutely.
And a lot of that is with reason. But the issue, I think, the real problem is how do you solve a problem like Maria, like Trump, right? you know that he's going to say these crazy lies. And I think Caitlin Collins did as good a job as you could possibly imagine. Trump is the proverbial unstoppable object, and no reporter or host is going to be the immovable post. She did as well as could be expected, but he is a train wreck of
I don't know, Colby. I don't know if we can call him a train wreck when so many in the media rely on him for ratings, and CNN is clearly saying, how do we solve a problem like CNN? And have somebody like Donald Trump have a town hall for 70 minutes. They're relying on what you call a train wreck to get eyeballs.
Well, yeah, so too is MSNBC and Fox News, and sadly, that's yes. The state of play. That's the state of play with like the big three. And by the way, the market opportunity for outlets that want to appeal to a reasoned, sort of marginalized moderate majority, as my friend Dan Abrams consistently says on his show. What we're seeing is this dynamic that fuels and feeds the extremes on both sides,
right.
And it's. You want to know why we're so divided in our country? That's a symptom of the problem that we just sort of illustrated right there.
Well, if you love him, you still love him. If you hate him, you still hate him. Colby Hall, thank you so much. Exactly. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.